I figured I could take you along the next couple days as I do a little monthly reset. I enjoy doing weekly and monthly resets and doing a huge reset at the beginning of each year. But today I thought I could just walk you through what I do on a monthly basis. I can't believe it's almost October. This year is flying by, and I think it's the perfect time to do a little check in to see where I'm at with my goals, my mindset, physically, mentally, spiritually, look at what's working for my daily habits and what I could change. I'm going to start off by making a reset checklist in my notebook so that way I can cross things off as I accomplish them and make sure I'm staying on track. I do journal daily, but for this reset, I'm going to specifically focus my entry on checking in and reflecting. I'm just going to analyze my routine. I've completed the 75 hard challenge, and I really just want to reflect on what I've learned from that and how I can continue to incorporate those habits, because that was definitely life changing and it did really change how I spend my day and my time. So stay tuned if you want to hear a little bit more about my reset checklist and just all the other things I'm doing to reset, get a fresh start on this month, and really just fine tune my habits so that I am showing up as my best self. And hopefully, I can encourage you to do the same. Hey, hello, welcome back to my channel. And hey, what's up if you're new here? Hello. So by now, I'm pretty sure I've already talked about the focus of today's video. I just wanted to get started on my long-awaited monthly refresh. Like I've already said, I usually do a little weekly reset. I do a few, daily tasks to reset, but every month doesn't always happen at the same time of the month. But every month I do like to take a weekend, or at least one of the days in a weekend, to really dive into a few things. So weekly, I'm doing, like I always talk about, my laundry, washing our bedding, cleaning our coffee machine, washing my hair. I have all those weekly tasks, and then I have monthly. So when it comes to cleaning, we do it's more of a deep clean. So we vacuum pretty regularly, but we do a good vacuum and mop session. Something else is decluttering and reorganizing my closet. When I'm doing my laundry, I'm able to tidy it up a bit, but every month, especially now, I'm trying to be a little more intentional about decluttering. If I go through a month and there's certain items I'm just looking over that I haven't been wearing, I like to just stop and think okay, are these pieces that I need to hang on to, or can I donate them? I'm trying to downsize and not be in the mindset of, oh, I'm donating things, so now I need to replace them. Something else that is important for this monthly reset is just realigning my mindset with my goals, and that comes down to a few different things. So, it's doing a physical reset, a mental reset, and then a spiritual reset. If you've been watching, you know that I completed the 75 hard challenge, and I really did form some amazing habits along with that, and I was able to stray away from others. And I say stray away because I can find myself already slowly gravitating toward those maybe not so good habits, and a lot of the habits just come down to my time and how I'm using it. And that's just why I think it's so important to do these monthly resets, these monthly check-ins, to see where I've let myself kind of slip and where I need to really get back on board with. And it's crazy to think that this time, it's almost October. We have 3 months left in the year 2025. And I just feel like it was just yesterday that the year started, and I look back and I just think of all the things that I've maybe wasted my time on or just spent too much time dwelling. I think that's my sign right now. I'm going to open up my journal that I do write in frequently. And I'm just going to focus today's entry on reflecting on how my year's been going, my goals physically, mentally, spiritually, write about what's going well and what I need to do differently. We're going to go from there. Hey guys, checking back in. I had gotten home from church before eating lunch. I was working on like journaling a little bit and just making like a little reset list. And then we had lunch. And then I just got like the biggest headache that came over me. And I just had to stop what I was doing. And the Vikings are playing anyways. They had a noon game today. So I just paused. I'm like, I'm just gonna lay on the couch. We all kind of just took like a nap. And I'm watching the Vikings, and what a good game. Like, our first game was a win. Last week's game was just kind of sad. So to see us like up and scoring is really fun. The score is now, okay, it's 48-10. So it looks like the Bengals must have got a touchdown and the extra point. So we have 2 minutes left in the final quarter, so we'll see what happens. But I think we can call this one a win. So as I'm reflecting and just like doing a check-in on my physical, mental, spiritual, all my different habits, now that I'm into, this will be week 4 of teaching again, something I've noticed is my meal planning. My meal plan game has just been way off. I have not been bringing like good substantial meals to work. I've been either having snacks or I'll go out on my lunch break. So it's something this week I'm getting back into it. It's just making sure I have a breakfast and lunch every day. Every single day. So this week for breakfast I'm gonna bring overnight oats, so I need to make those tonight. And then for my lunches, I got a couple of salad kits, so I'll be able to do 2 days I'll have salads, and I'm gonna save part of it to also make like a little wrap or a sandwich. So that's something, as I reflected, I realized I need to be intentional about planning my meals so that I'm eating and feeling fueled and feeling good throughout my entire workday. As far as cleaning goes, we're washing our comforter, and it's a process because we have to make sure it dries. Hey, did you hear me? Yeah, so we have to make sure that dries. Whoa! I'm so funny. That was the play of the day. It was a replay. I was like, wait, is this happening right now? No. Okay. Here we go. I'm grabbing a mason jar. Oh, well, thank you, miss. Bringing me the remote that I left within your grasp. Okay. Thanks. So, woo, that could have been bad. So for my oats, I'm going to look up a recipe. It's been a while since I've made these, but I know that I will have chia seeds, oats, probably vanilla, protein powder, and then milk. I'll probably put maybe peanut butter, honey. Yeah, I'm going to look up a recipe. I don't want to just wing it because I've done that before, and I just want it to make sure it tastes good. Okay, got my oats. All right, I'm gonna sit down, find a recipe, maybe whip up the oatmeal, and then in the morning I'll probably top it with some granola and fruit. That's what I've done in the past. Getting all the laundry done today, and I think I'll go in my planner too. I just need to write in all of my my workouts, our dinner plans, anything else I need to do this week. I do need to film one video this week that will go up on Thursday. This happened last week too, where I'm filming today. Today is Sunday. I'm filming, and this video needs to go up tomorrow. But it will get done. We'll get there. I'm gonna look up that recipe, and then I need to just get my planner out and just write everything down. All right, I found a pretty simple recipe. I think this is the one I used to follow. It's oats, chia seeds, milk, and then some maple syrup, which I'm going to add just a little bit of. And then this recipe, they add brown sugar. I think I'm going to skip that and add a little bit of vanilla protein powder, and that'll add some sweetness plus some protein. So So we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna go make it, probably just make it right now since I'm talking about it. Trying to see what I'm doing? Oh my gosh. Hey, you cannot do that. Do you need another, or you need some more snack? Need more snack? Okay, go get your cup. Go get your snack cup, please. Yep, where's your snack cup? All right, the oats are made, and that's gonna be trial and error. I've made them in the past, but it's been a while, so I'm gonna see if the ratios worked well. And then I'll probably make like 2 at a time so that I'm set for a couple of days. So we'll see how that flavor combination all works out. And then in the morning, I think I will add some granola and maybe some peanut butter or some fruit. We will see. My little pal. Something I wanted to note, so a few things that I've done for this little reset are things, I actually think I already talked about this, but big things like we wash our bedding every week, but we like to wash our bedding, as in our sheets and our pillowcases. Now that we have our little one, some of our bigger cleaning tasks we like to do, but then things like tidying up like the living space, like putting toys away. Right now we just kind of have a little spot for all of them, but little girl just likes to play, so we don't put everything away super neatly, especially like the living room. Like this is her domain. We just want her to be able to play whenever. So just other big things are like making sure we dust, fix the couch. So like our couch cushions, I like to make sure I like flip them and then rotate, because in the mornings, my husband and I feel like we both have our spot, like preferred spot on the couch. It's funny though. So like in the mornings we sit in those spots, but if I'm ever here like on my own, which right now, because you can probably hear my husband is mowing outside right now. If I'm just hanging out and lounging, I always sit in his spot. It's just more convenient. So all that to say, one side of our couch gets sat on more often. So I just like to rotate out the cushions so that they're both getting enough wear, or just so, yeah, they're both getting sat on a more even amount of time, because we don't want one cushion like super sunk in, the other other one not so much. So yada yada. I think I talked about the journaling piece, so I really focused and reflected on what's working for me mentally, physically, and spiritually. And it also made me think a lot about financially and all of this, like as far as like my habits go. So just to name a few, physically, what is going well for me is, and when I say physically, I guess I just think of like activity, my health. So I think I've gotten back into a good routine of exercising, moving my body, and activity. An area that I want to now focus in on is more of my nutrition, realizing that I need to and would like to more so be more intentional about my meal planning, which I've already touched on, just having healthy meal options to keep my body fueled and to just keep me feeling good while I'm at work. Okay, so physically, yeah, just want to keep being active and then just focus now on eating well, making good choices there, cutting out caffeine too, because that goes along too with like my financial situation and spending. I was getting a coffee out so like impulsively, like I would go without even thinking about it, and that needs to end. So I'm really focusing on getting back on track with spending, nutrition, la di da di da. I found a really good chai tea latte concentrate that was really good, and I've tried it both hot and iced, and I like it both ways. So mentally, things that have really helped that are working is reading as much as I can, reading rather than being on my phone, and then journaling every day. I've said it before, and I'll just continue to say it. It's just life changing. I can get my thoughts out in a way that doesn't feel like scary. There are a lot of things I can talk to other people about, but there's some things that, I'm needing to process in the moment. I can pray about those things and then just really write it all down, just get it all out. I think I mentioned this, but I haven't been able to consistently stick with it. I've heard great things about 40 Days to a Joy-Filled Life, and I want to incorporate this into my daily reading. I read the first page. It was quite convicting, but like in the best possible way. So I'm going to be reading this as like my daily like devotional alongside of my daily Bible reading. So mentally, things have been pretty good. Again, just keeping up with my journaling, talking about things, and then just being open and honest, and then also just limiting my time on social media. Spiritually, reading God's word every day, praying, spending time with God in his presence, listening for his voice, all of those things I do daily, but I find myself, even when I feel like, oh yeah, I've done a great job of feeling close to God. I feel like, really good. I feel like I can always go deeper. And also something we talked about at church today, we focused on worship and that part of church and being in the church body. And yeah, we talked about that time, and I stopped to think like, how often am I spending time worshiping God through, one way is through music and singing. I think I've just had an interesting perspective on that for a long time, where as if the only time I can do that is at church and being like led by a worship team. And I was just thinking like, no, when I'm listening to worship music, just kind of it was eye-opening to me. Like, when I'm listening to worship music, like, am I truly singing those words to God, or am I just singing along? Does that make sense? Like, where is my heart when I'm listening to worship music? That was just an important thing that I realized just today, actually. And then I mentioned just like financial habits. I need a budget. So my husband and I are going to work together on that. Something we talked about just today. That's why these monthly resets are just so great. And depending on your situation, like if you're single, living alone, different, right? But my husband and I were married, we lived together, dual income. It's important for us to talk and collaborate about that side of things. Something else, it's always good to just check in on and check our spending, where we can cut back on, making sure we're prioritizing our spending and our finances. And let's just say it's very easy to overspend, which I've definitely done a lot of. And I just want to be more intentional about that. And I think all of this to say, the reason I'm really doing this is just to encourage you and hopefully motivate you to maybe take a look at your own situation and just really reflect on how you're spending your time, how you're spending your resources, and if there are things that you could change, They could be little changes to make a difference. It's easy, I think, for me personally to just kind of get stuck in a rut and stuck in this cycle of feeling the same, or feeling like I'm in a certain state of mind, just stuck. And I feel like when I do take the time to reflect, to stop and think, like, okay, just lay it all out there. Like, what am I doing? How am I spending my time? Only when I take the time to think and like analyze my life, my choices, and my habits, only then can I see where I might be falling short. And I'm able to remember how much control I truly do have over a lot of things in this life. Start with the basics, right? If you're not feeling great, like, okay, think about what are you eating? Are you sleeping well? Are you hydrated? All those basic things that we really need to make sure we're taking care of. And then when I'm truly taking care of myself and putting things in place to find this balance in my life, I feel like that's when I can truly show up as my best self for my husband, for my daughter, for the rest of my family, for my students, for my coworkers. It really does matter. You need to take care of yourself. All right, this video was quite chatty and reflective. I think the main purpose of this was just taking the time to complete a little reset, just checking in with yourself to see how things are going. And if there's an area of your life that's just not going well, let's figure out what we can do differently. All right, thanks so much for watching. Take care, guys. I'll see you in my next one.